Welcome back to video 2 in my Programming Fundamentals series. Congratulations, you made it to video 2. Making some serious progress. Alright, so some things I kind of wish I had mentioned in the first video, but I'll go ahead and actually mention now in the second video. Sorry for the delay, I did the first video in a little bit of a hurry, but enough of that. Some things that you're going to notice with Java whenever you open up your first file that's full of code is that you're going to see that there's a lot of things in here that look a little bit intimidating because you probably don't know what they are and so on and so forth. But for now, just understand that everything that we're going to be coding is going to actually be in between the curly braces in what is actually known as a method. This is actually considered to be the main method, which I did actually mention, I believe, before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. But it says right here is main, which is a special entry point method for your program. Doesn't matter the size or whatever, it has to start somewhere. You're also going to see this right here, the public class, and that's the name of the actual project. But don't worry about what class means or what package means or any of that for now. We'll probably get into those details, definitely with classes and maybe packages, which packages are just used to group classes, but I don't want to get too technical too fast. But that's really all I want to say with that, and like I said before, we're mainly just going to be working between these curly braces, and I'll go on ahead and break those up just a little bit. Alright, so to pick up where we left off, we discussed printing, which, as you know, when you write out this big long statement right here, it simply just prints something out to the built-in console inside of NetBeans, or whatever. Eclipse also has a built-in console as well if you're using that. But here we are, as you can see that, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. It'll let me if I remember how to do it. There we are. So hopefully make it a little bit easier to see. So, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of things that are intimidating, and another thing here that's probably a little bit crazy is the statement, this system.out.println. And we're not going to get bogged down to the details right now. We will get into this a little bit later, and I'll explain a little bit more about why things are this way. But just for now, know that it has a simple functionality, and that is to print something out. So just as long as you can go with that for now, we are good to go. I know it's a little bit of a catch-22 because you're wanting to learn how to program, because you want to know how things work, and then right off the bat we're like, hey, don't worry about what all that is. But I'll explain those things, and just understand that it's just a built-in way to print something out, because to recode that would take a really long time. There's a lot of technical details with that just to simply print something out. But that's really all with that. So let's talk a little bit about some things to help us keep things organized. Well, not really organized, but just to kind of make little notes to ourselves within our code to remind us of things if we ever need to do that. And the best ways to do that are with comments. This is a comment. We do 2 forward slashes, and then we can type whatever we want. This is ignored whenever we go to run it, because whenever we go to run it, it actually does what something is called, sorry, I can't talk, what is called building the project, which actually takes all the code and actually converts it to what's known as a bytecode, which is something that the virtual machine that Java uses to run a program can recognize. In other words, it's also known as compile. It's just converting the code to what the machine can understand. But comments are completely ignored by that. It's completely English, Spanish, whatever friendly, and you can just type whatever you want to remind yourself of whatever. And these are what is known as single line comments. They only work for one line. If I start typing again, we get a bunch of errors because it is trying to, the program NetBeans is trying to see if that's regular valid syntax, which it isn't at this state. Another type of way to do comments is multi-line comments, which is a forward slash asterisk, and then you have to close it. Mine automatically closes mine, but to close it you do another asterisk, and you do a backslash. And these are good for multiple lines, so anything between these lines I can type, and then now we don't have to, we're not just you know, stuck on one single line, but often single line comments are good enough for us. Sometimes if you want to go a little more detail, we go with the multi-line. But that's that. Something else I wanted to discuss is white space. Notice how much space I have here and I have here. White space is also ignored, but to keep things clean, it's better to not have a whole bunch of white space. It's better to keep things, you'll get a feel for how to space things out and when to go to a new line and how much space to put between each things, and you'll kind of develop your little style. But you don't want to do anything, you know, completely absurd, and you don't want to do anything that's, you know, not, you know, you'll see, and you'll get a little style that you like and works well for you. Okay, so I think the last thing I wanted to discuss in this video is printing. Now, we did that a little bit before, and we just actually have done it right now. Let's go ahead and do it again. So we type out system.out.println, and let's just do a simple printing again. And let's just check that out really fast. Hey, we did it. Printing again. I wanted to do this because I wanted to show you how the program actually executes each line of code. If you notice, it does it from top to bottom. So if I were to take this line of code and move it up here, which one's going to print out first? The printing again, absolutely. See how now it prints out. See if we can pull that up. And then now the hello world prints out. Now, notice how it goes to the next line. That's actually pretty important, and will come up for how to do different things within the console. And the reason why it goes to the next line is because we're using something known as println, which println prints something out and then moves the cursor to the next line. So if I didn't use the println, this line and this line will actually appear on the same line, and it's going to look kind of funny. See? Now the cursor still does move to the next line because we have hello world, so it's important to understand that it prints it out, then it goes to the next line. So we'll just add that back to make sure it's clean. And I'll give some little assignments for it'll be more obvious as to why there is a difference and how doing the difference between the two can actually be used. But that's basically all I want to do for this video. Is just I wanted you to understand basic comments, basics about white space, the two different types of printing, and how println prints something out and then moves to the next line, and regular print just prints it on the line that the cursor is currently on. And the order of events. Things will always go from top to bottom, at least for now. You can kind of jump around, and we'll get into that later on when we get into having a class and different method calls. But mostly it just, and even then really it technically moves from top to bottom. So for now, when we get into more advanced things like variable declaration and so on, you'll see what I mean about how things go from top to bottom. And that's really all I have. That's really all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new, and I hope you have a nice day.